Hello everyone, Rockrufff here with another video, and in this video I want to talk about the new crafting system. I want to explain to you guys why the crafting system is the way it is, and I also want to explain how it works. So this is just a quick video, and yeah, we're just gonna be going right through it. So first of all, crafting is a lot more different than it was before in Season 1 or Season 2, and well, the result of that is that you no longer can craft perfect items. Now, I think the reason of that happening is because rolling perfect items was far too easy. All you need to do was spam some flame sand, flame dust, and flame elementium to get the right mods, and you could pick whether you wanted to keep a mod or not, and now you can no longer do that. So I do believe that there's some upsides to this, but also some downsides. Obviously, people do not enjoy this. I know that some people do, but some other people, they don't, which is understandable, and I do get that. But the upside of this is probably that the market is gonna be different with rare items now. Now, as I noticed before in Season 1 when I played, rare items were not worth anything, but that was also because everyone was basically playing a build that they were unfamiliar with and they did not know what rare items they would need. So there was not really any rare items that people were targeting back then, and now I think that's a little more with more builds being out now. So I do believe that due to this new crafting system, the value of rare items have increased, and that now if you have something that has good rolls on it, that it will sell for quite a bit actually. So now, how does this new crafting system work and how should you approach it? Well, if you guys might have noticed, rare items sometimes do drop different. Now if I enter this map right here, I will show you guys real quick what it looks like when an item drops with one tier 1 modifier. This is going to take a bit because I've already cleared the entire map. Alright, so there we go. So this is what I'm talking about. So items will appear like this now. And as you can see, it's a bit more highlighted and it just looks a lot more different. Now, unfortunately, we cannot scroll down to see what tier 1 mod this is, but once you pick it up, you can go. And this is basically what picked up the Primeval War Claw over here. And as you can see, it has a tier 1 mod. Now, this is the reason why this item dropped like that and why it's looking like that on the floor. Now I do have another example for you guys over here. Earlier when I dropped another claw, it looked like this. Now as you can see, apart from all the other items that have dropped here, this one shines the most. So, well, basically what this means, it has 2 tier 1 mods instead of 1. So one tier 1 mod is what it looked like in the map that I was in right here. And when you have 2 tier 1 mods, it basically looks like this. Now, why do you want to pick these up? Well, the reason why you want to pick these up is basically because of the new crafting system. So let's go back and take a look at the crafting system. So, well, you can also do this in your inventory, by the way. There's a small anvil button over here, and then basically you can do prototype crafting and target processing. So, now if we, for example, select this item that we just picked up, now this is going to be on your screen when you are selecting prototype crafting. Now, what is prototype crafting? So, prototype crafting allows you to lock a certain mod. Now, if I were to start rolling this item, then it will basically roll random mods. Now, that's always going to be like that, and you will basically keep on rolling until you run out of something that is called plasticity. And plasticity is basically the amount, well, it's a value that allows you to reroll the item with prototype crafting. And once you run out of plasticity, you will no longer be able to use prototype crafting. So each time that I want to roll the item and lock in a mod, it is going to cost me 3 flame, sand, a fine amber, and then also plasticity cost is going to be 5. So each time I hit craft over here, it will cost me 5 plasticity, and it will go from 100 to 0 eventually. So yeah. Now, as you can see, I just hit craft. Now, these are probably like the most random mods that you'll be hitting over here. But what you basically want to do is keep on rolling until you hit another tier 1 mod. Another 1 or 2 tier 1 mods. If you're lucky, you'll get 2. But most likely, you'll probably be getting only 1. And sometimes you will not get any. Now, like I said, tier 1 mods are pretty rare to roll right now, so getting all perfect gear is going to be difficult. So this is basically the reason of this. So if I just keep on rolling and hit another tier 1 mod, well, then you would want to lock that in. Let's just hit confirm on either choices. So if you have 2 mods that you would like to keep, well, then you can lock in 2 mods over here, and then you can start crafting. But as you can see, the cost has increased. It will cost me an entire flame elementium, 10 flame sand, and 4 fine embers instead. Now, I do recommend to get at least a nice tier 1 drop with like either 1 tier 1 mod or 2 tier 1 mods, because if you're gonna start rolling and you're gonna start locking in mods, it is going to cost you, especially if you're going to lock in 2 mods. So do make sure that if you're gonna lock in 2 mods, that it's gonna be worth it. Because I do, personally myself, I do think that, you know, locking in, you know, a tier 1 and a tier 3 mod is not worth it for me. For 1 flame elementium. Flame elementium is the currency that we all trade in, so it is best to only use flame elementium when you actually have 2 good mods that you can lock in. So I do want to tell you guys that, so that you won't spend lots of flame elementium without hitting anything. Because honestly, I have done some prototype crafting, and most likely you will get low tier mods. And that's the reason why these items on the floor shine like that, like have a different way of dropping. And I think they intentionally did that for prototype crafting, so you will lock in those modifiers. Now, there is a couple of things about prototype crafting. Now, one thing is that you can divest, which will randomly remove 1 affix on the gear, including locked affixes. So it will basically remove a mod, no matter if it's locked or not. And then there's refine, which will randomly remove 1 of the lowest mods on your gear. Now this is kind of like an annulment orb, if any of you guys have played Path of Exile before. So you will basically remove a mod that you might not like, and then I think the best way to do this is to use refine, because if you're gonna do divest and you have a good item with good mods on it, then you might end up removing the mod that you would want to keep. So target processing is a little bit different. So it is kind of like the old system, but it's not like that at all, actually. So you are able to add a mod, but you are not able to pick whether you would want to keep that mod or not. Now, this is kind of like you just click and hope that it's gonna be the mod that you would like. So these embers, you know, they still will obviously, so if you pick, like, for example, the essence processing over here, it will typically pick between the physical, the fire, the cold, lightning, and erosion damage to gear. Now, the item itself already has the cold and physical, which means it cannot roll this anymore. But also, as you can see, all the prefixes are full, which means that I cannot add another mod whatsoever. Now, if this did have a open prefix, and for example, the max mana would be gone, then it could still pick between the fire damage, the lightning, and the erosion. And let's say you would want erosion, well then I would have a 1 in a 3 chance to hit erosion. Now if it does not hit erosion, well, that's pretty much it. Then you could go back to probably to prototype crafting and then use divest or refine either way and remove a mod. Now I do believe that when you start to do target processing, it is best to have some open mods. Now getting open mods is obviously easier to use with refine or just to keep on rolling with prototype crafting. Like let's say I want to keep the critical strike rating and I don't care about any of the other mods. So what you could do is keep on rolling until it basically hits prefixes but no suffixes, for example, if you would want to put suffixes through target processing instead. So let's say I would want let's say like anything like movement speed or the attack speed, for example, then I would want to have an empty suffix for this. Now why would I want more than one empty suffixes? Because you are less likely to hit the mod that you want to hit. Now there is also an option down here which is polish, and as you can see over here it says 10 times the cost brings 10 times the chance for tier 1 and tier 2 affixes. Now this will increase your cost by a lot. As you can see, this is going to cost you 20 flame elementium and 60 precious embers and 200 flame sand. Now do you really want to take the risk of rolling a tier 1 mod but it's not gonna be the mod that you would want? I'm pretty sure the answer would be no, right? So I do believe it is better to not hit the polish unless you are stinking rich and you can afford it all. But either way, even if I had a lot of currency, I probably wouldn't do this anyway. So yeah, each time you roll on an item and it ends up not the way you would like, well, you could probably still sell the item and see if anyone else would buy it. But you can no longer modify it with prototype crafting as you are out of plasticity. And also one of my viewers told me that if you start with target processing instead of prototype crafting, it will basically use all of your plasticity, which means that once you start target processing and you still have like 100 plasticity on your item because you don't want to use it and want to start targeting, well, here's the thing, right? If you do this once and you roll like 2 good mods, then you can no longer roll other mods randomly. Now, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to you guys, but I hope that everything that I just told you guys makes a lot of sense with this new crafting system. So what I personally would do is just start prototype crafting, lock in the mods that I want to keep, and then I would go ahead to target processing and then try to finish the item if I can. Now, if the item does not turn out as I want it to, well, I don't think it's worth to refine it, to be honest. I don't know how much fossils are, but usually these fossils, which were they actually had a different name. They had the name was spiral fossils, I believe, and those were a lot more expensive. Let's see how much they actually are right now. But yeah, you just gotta make sure that the item is worth it and that you have, you know, at least 2 good mods on it, preferably something that has 2 tier 1 mods to start rolling, because otherwise you're gonna spend so much flame sand and flame elementium without rolling anything good that you could possibly use or sell. Anyway, I am looking for the fossils. I'm not sure where they are. Okay, so here. So refined fossil. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I wouldn't do this. Jesus Christ. I just noticed this, just right now, actually. But yeah, as you can see, it's simply just not worth to do it. I would just, if you fail crafting your item, I would just try and drop a new one or get a, you know, a base off the trade house and get some, you know, good tier 1 mods. I'm pretty sure that plenty of people, they find tier 1 mods. Even I do. Like, I find maybe like 5 or 6 per map or so, where I get an item with at least 1 tier 1 mod. Now, getting an item with 2 tier 1 mods is a little more rare to drop. But, you know, if you're looking for one specific mod, then you're probably better off looking for it on the trade house, or if you like to do SSF, solo self found, then you try to drop that, obviously. But yeah, I hope this video was useful to you guys, actually, and I hope I made a couple of things more clear, and that you guys now kind of get the idea of how this new method of crafting works. Now, we can actually do, let's see, maybe I have like an item that I want to roll right now. That might be, you know, a simple example for you guys. Let's see. Yeah, I have, like, as you can see, I have lots of items here saved up with tier 1 mods. And the reason for that is because, well, maybe there's gonna be someday that I might need one of these. And, yeah, I do rather drop things myself than buy them off the trade house. But yeah, like this, for example, let's just take this one. So this amulet, we're gonna basically try and roll whatever we can roll that is best. Alright, so we're gonna be locking in the lightning resistance. The cold resistance tier 3 is actually not so bad. Now, if you're satisfied with tier 3 cold resistance and you think it's worth spending an entire flame elementium to reroll the third suffix and 3 prefixes, then you should go ahead and do that. But I personally think that tier 3 is still a little too low for me, and I would like to try and keep rolling for another tier 1 mod. So, let's try and do that. Now, as you can see, it's just typically rolling the most random mods that I don't even want. What tier 4 fire resistance? Not too bad, I would say. But yeah, if you don't have a lot of flame sand or currency to spend, I would just stick to something that is like tier 3. That would be plenty enough, I feel like. Now, as you can see over here, we have rolled tier 1 injury buffer. Now, this is not something I use myself, but I'm going to go ahead and confirm anyway, because maybe there's someone out there who would like this item that has injury buffer on it, for example. Now, we can go ahead and price check this actually right now, see if it has some value. Now, no one has this. And yeah, it is pretty difficult to find 2 mods that are tier 1, especially since they're more difficult to roll now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that, you know, if you roll a tier 1 mod, you can decide to just stop right there and then sell it and let someone else finish the item. Or you can try and roll another good mod and see, you know, if that will sell for even more. Now, obviously, it will sell for more, but also the mods gotta line up for someone. Obviously, if the build cannot use one of the tier 1 mods, then they will be less likely to buy it. But if there's other mods like resistance, any build would need resistance. Obviously, any build would need life. So yeah, but that's pretty much my example here for that amulet. Actually, I'm not gonna continue crafting on it because I don't have that much currency myself either. Actually, I wanted to finish crafting this one, so let's go ahead and try that. So this is tier 1 mean damage with tier 1 max life and tier 2 fire resistance. Now, I will probably be less likely to hit another tier 2 mod with fire resistance because I cannot lock in the fire resistance. Now, there's two options. I can basically keep on rolling until it... Well, I only have 10 plasticity, but still, I can basically keep on rolling until it hits something tier 1 or tier 2. Now, preferably, obviously, if it would hit tier 1 fire resistance, now, obviously, we would keep that. But as you can see, I have 2 empty affixes. Now, I would like to keep that as well, so I can do some target processing. Now, I am just gonna... Oh, well, this is another tier 1 mod. Now, I think I would like to keep that, actually. So... Now my next choice is, do I try for another mod? Now this is not good. As you can see, this is tier 12 with tier 4, and we're not going to confirm that. So that was basically all of my plasticity for this chest piece, and now we're gonna go ahead to target processing. Now what I would want to roll as a suffix would basically be either tenacity blessings or the max fire res. Either way, it is nice defenses. Now, there's obviously also some other choices over here. Now, there is a couple of issues with some of the other mods. For example, resistance. Resistance, if we click on this, as you can see, it has a whole list of tiers. Now, resistance, in my opinion, is one of the most annoying mods to roll. And especially if you're going to be target processing resistance, well, you will most likely hit these mods over here, tier 4, tier 5, tier 6. As you can see, the random weight on, well, the random weight down here is 0. Now, I do believe that, yeah, if you're super unlucky, you will roll either from tier 7 to tier 12, which is very low amount. But yeah, that can basically happen with target processing. So if you're gonna go prototype crafting, I do believe that it's best to try and target mods like resistance, for example, with a high tier, so you won't have to worry about it being a low tier when you try to target process it instead. Now, what I can do is target process one mod from this technique processing and then enchant the last mod with the resistance that I would like. So, and that's basically what I would want to do right now. So we're gonna hit craft, and we have, well, we don't want to hit physical, obviously. So we're gonna just hope that we're not gonna hit physical. And we hit physical. Now, as you can see, my only option is to confirm. And that is unfortunate because there is pretty much nothing I can do about that. I cannot cancel it. I have to accept it. Now, the next time you roll something, it has to be polish. It says adding the second and third targeted processing affixes by polishing can greatly reduce the cost of crafting a high-level affix. Wait. Oh, wait, I actually don't have to accept that. Yes, confirm. I don't want to do that. So, okay, my bad. I didn't know that. So that's basically what that when I crafted target process for the first time and I crafted one of these mods, it instantly hit polish next time, and then I lost 20 flame element and was like, wait, huh? I was so confused because it just automatically turns this on, and I lost my flame element human like that. So if you're gonna target process and you're gonna hit a mod and you want to hit another, make sure you check this off if you do not want to use this. So fair warning to you guys. But yeah, I can now decide whether I want to try again for another mod, or that I can just finish the item with an enchant and just call it a chest piece, right? Just call it right here. And I think I'm gonna go with enchanting the item because, well, I am going to need some resistance, and besides, you can always remove an enchant, I believe. And the resistance that I mainly would need if I unequip my item is gonna be fire. So we're gonna enchant it with fire, and that's basically gonna be our chest piece right here. Fire, fire, fire. We're gonna obviously try for the highest roll, 32%. 29. Fine enough. And yeah, there is my new chest. So I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope you guys have a better understanding of how this new crafting system works. I know it's confusing to some of you guys, so I wanted to explain it, and yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to do for this video. Also, thank you all for watching. I also stream on Twitch. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below, and I'll try to answer all of your questions. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.